Good day, everyone. This is Rita Choi from Asia HR Women Club and Asia HR app. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Says by John C. Maxwell, leadership grew in the States. As leadership skills is so important to an organization, recently we have embarked on a series of interviews with top leaders in Asia. Today, I'm very glad that Mrs. Carmen Lam has accepted my invite. Carmen is the general manager of Macau branches of AXA China Region Insurance Company Bermuda Limited and AXA General Insurance Hong Kong Limited. Prior to joining AXA, Carmen spent 23 years with Principal Financial Group. With her specialty and long years of contributions in the holistic financial planning and MPF industry, she was awarded a Business Lifetime Achievement in Retirement Services by Media Zone magazine and represented Principal Hong Kong Group being awarded the pension schemes from Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank in Beijing and New Development Bank in Shanghai. Hello, Carmen.
Hi, Rita.
Hi, I have a question for you. Since you're a great leader, especially you're a great female leader. So what does leadership mean to you?
To be honest, I was an HR director many years ago. So if I talk about the leadership from people's point of view, of course, this is a person that we expect that they can provide direction, lead a group of people that they can work together towards the same goal. But since I've been working from both back end and the front line, I was also being, appointed by the company to lead a group of people to achieve the sales goals, managing different channels from sales point of view. So when we talk about the sales, of course, we are talking about the sales turnover. So when I was trying to share the global leadership topic with one of the university in Jakarta before, I just happened to find out from the website. It told me 2015, Fox.com, they have done some research. That research really enlightened my heart and my eyes. It talks about if you have a good leader in your company, actually your profit can be doubled. So when we heard about that, it's not uncommon why a lot of companies keep on looking for good leader. So in my sense, if we are able to become the good leader or a strong leader, no matter whether you are talking about the commercial world or NGO, is going to be helping the organization to achieve the goal faster, attain the business performance faster with higher sales turnover, or even though I can say within the organization, as long as we have the strong and good leader. Of course, how do you define good and strong? It can be very argumentative. However, when we look at the result, most people will find that they work happier, they can work happily within the organization if they have the leader that they can trust, they can provide direction. A lot of people will get confused if they don't even know what my leader wants me to do, That's why a good leader is able to, provide a vision, provide a direction. At least you can give them freedom. I mean, that means the employee. Especially nowadays in the modern generation, a lot of people that they are looking for freedom. Freedom is very important. However, as a leader, how can you provide freedom to your employees or staff or colleagues, whoever, but at the same time, how could we work together? How can you be the center of the company, but how can you, empower your staff, your employee, that they can own their, accomplishment. I think in the old days, a lot of people would think of leader, wow, they're strong, they are the icon, they are the only one that can represent a company. But in my mind, nowadays, especially in my workplace, I wish that I can partner with all my team leaders. I wish them that they can take up the responsibility. I can empower them. Hopefully they can learn from the job. They can be trained, or they can, experiment what resources that they can collect together so that they can freely use their own way to achieve the company's target. That means we can unleash, trying to make the boundary a bit, further, push further the boundary. At least let the people, my current philosophy as a leader. I am trying to help my staff to, find out their potential. A lot of people that they really don't know their own potential. They cannot see how do they perform. What is the best? What is the worst? And how can we try to minimize the worst and bring out the best, like a coach? So nowadays, when I work with my teams, my company colleagues, or even though in my social, volunteer work, even though within a church, I really wish that I can use my leadership skill that is very easy to do. Don't be controlling, I'm not sure. Am I answering your question correctly, or as you expect?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Carmen. You mentioned freedom, right? I think it's coincide with one of the speakers that we have. She also start with autonomy. So basically, we need to give autonomy to our employees. And also, you further mentioned about the power of empowerment, and also leaders also needs to be a coach, right? So that we can unleash the potential of employees. Wow, thank you very much for that.
Sometimes it's very interesting, Rita. I don't know whether you find it. As long as when we leaders talk about, we want to empower the staff, but the staff will never get it. They don't feel you really empower them. When you say you're giving them autonomy, but they don't feel it. That's why most of the time, from scholars' point of view, those are the pretty appropriate wordings to use. But in today's world, I was trying to talk to my staff. Okay, try to find out your potential. Try to, I can allow you to make mistake as long as you learn. Okay, don't repeat all the time of your same mistake without learning. So I just want to partner with them. I'm telling them, I'm your coach. I'm trying to support you, help you to be a star, to shine in your own position.
Wow, partner with them.
Yeah. That just like the celebrities, all of them would need the company, or the agent, to help them, the PA to help them.
I think, Carmen, you have adopted sort of the servant leadership, right?
I hope. I'm still learning. I'm trying.
Okay, thanks, Carmen. So I have another question for you. How have you demonstrated your leadership skills?
I think I just, just now I just repeat a bit of that. I try to, every time when I work with the staff, I will start with an interview. I don't mean when I hire them, because when I take up the leadership role, most of the time the staff are already there. So I would love to talk to each one of them, trying to hear from them. What do they see right, not right at their current position? What exactly they really want to do, what they love to do, what they don't like to do. I'm trying to understand them a bit more. Sometimes they don't even understand them enough on their own, trying to dig out their strength, trying to, as a leader, I think every leader would have the similar characteristic. It's too easy for you to identify people's mistakes. It's too easy for you to be able to see what is the downside, what is the disadvantage of one person. Very easy to point out the error of something, but it's not that easy for you to, spot, to find out, just like treasure hunt, to try to find out what's the best, what is the strengths of the staff. So that's why I would love to, understand them better. I don't want to, judge too early based on my own observation or my understanding or use my knowledge. That's I've been taking up the managerial position since 1996. Okay, it's been a while. I keep on, learning, correcting. Now, today, I find that not to be judgmental. Don't judge too early. Trying to, understand them. Let them to talk about them. And then eventually I will tell them through the coaching session, do you think you will like this? Do you think you always make some, repetitively do something that you can correct or you can do better? So throughout these interviewing sessions, then I would like to, demonstrate to them or trying to identify a few alternate solutions for them to consider. I will tell them this is how I do, but you don't have to repeat. You don't have to copy me because you're unique. Everyone is unique. And trying to let them to, embrace what they are supposed to be responsible to do the job, and let them to, use their own way. I love to use a lot of projects. I love to do a lot of events. And I usually will try to take turn to assign different persons to take the task, to take the leadership role, and let them to, try to create an event, create a project, a task force. And then I try to, working together with them side by side and point out or remind them what areas that have you ever, I love to ask questions. Have you ever thought about that? Have you prepared this? Have you done that? What if something happened? How are you going to handle that? So just like a companion, and let them to be inspired, and then they can try to learn from the experience. And then after everything, we just debrief. That is the very important session, because a lot of people will enjoy the glory. When the event is gone, when the task is gone, they enjoy the result. And then afterwards, they would forget everything. And then next time, they repeat the same mistakes. They repeat the same thing. Sometimes people are not very, demanding. They are not as demanding as I am. I'm very demanding. I'm very picky. I would love things to be perfect, but I cannot expect people like that. That's why sometimes after people accomplish the job, they would just be, content. They would just settle down by, what they see. And then they will feel satisfied. That's it. That is not going to help the person to grow. That's why I would like to point out, I will let them to, experience. Experience is always the very, I in my mind, it's very practical, and of course, sometimes I will, in the past, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm just like the oldies. I would love to share my experience to them. But nowadays, I try to, adjust a bit of my style. People do not like to listen. Not like before, not like 10 years ago, 5 years ago. No, people would love to see the result. They would just want to do. I think it's because of the electronic device effect. Yes.
Thanks, Carmen. Actually, I believe that mistakes are good, but we have to learn from it and move on, right? We cannot repeat the same mistake again and again without learning from it. So I believe that your staff will also adopt the same same way of doing it, and they will improve by learning from it. Thanks, Carmen. Next, I have another question for you. What have you unlearned and relearned in your leadership journey?
To be honest, for every leader, I'm sure we all make mistakes. When I flow back to 1996, first time when I was being appointed as the manager, I would always think about result. Okay, I got the task, I got to complete that, I got to finish that. That's why I was, as I said, I was very demanding. I would have a preset model. I would love to, put people in my model, trying to, we should be on time, we should be using this and that style. You got to write things in this way, that way. I create a lot of, rules and boundary and expectations. And I'm sure a lot of leaders, like everyone, a lot of juniors under, reporting to us, being sacrificed for us to learn from the mistake we made. That's why eventually, of course, you have to turn around very fast. You cannot keep on sacrificing people. That's why you cannot let your subordinates to suffer from your poor, leadership style or management skill. That's why I keep on learning and observing why my team, they're not working happily. Very simple. If they don't invite you for lunch, it's a very, very obvious sign. How come my staff would lunch together with the leader of the next team? Then you have to reveal why. You have to reflect. Oh, I'm not welcome. They don't like me, or I'm too busy, or I did not, invite them, or whatever. That's why since then, I think I have to adjust my leadership style. I have to be more, people oriented, not just simply result oriented, because we do the job through people. Of course, today you will argue with me. No, we just work online. We just work through our computer and AI. But still, you have a lot of people working together with you. Even though online, you better be considerate. You better be, consider what situation your staff is undertaking, especially today, work from home. Can you understand their home situation and work environment? A lot of people, they have carry, or a lot of burdens or suffering from many different things. People cannot be harsh, cannot be mean. We got to be, humane, considerate, be kind enough, got to be friend of your staff, friend of your, subordinates. Someone may not agree, wow, how can you be friend with them? They will not obey you, they will not respect you. However, when I compare two different styles today, I found that my team works in a harmony environment. Of course, they will argue, they will have different point of view. But as a team, the team spirit is very strong. When compared with 1996, we all work silo. Even though that time the AI, the computer is not that, Zoom was not there yet. But today, even though we are working in different area, different location, just like recently, I was back to Hong Kong, and my team is now in Macau, and I have to be quarantined when I return. But we still work very closely. We care each other. We consider each other's situation. So today, I have a motto. In order to talk about the business, let's talk about the persons first. That means you have to settle the person's own problems, their psychological situation. Today's we all talk about the well-being, Let's care about the well-being first, and then business next. And of course, because I'm a Christian, I'm more, on the other way. But no matter how, I would care about the well-beings and the person first.
Wow, Carmen, thank you. I love the way that you mentioned reflection, right? Because especially when your team were not having lunch with you, instead they had lunch with the
very sad, you know,
cause
very jealous.
So because reflection, you just thought that, oh, you really need to change something, right? And also, I really love your idea and also your motto of talk about people first before we talk about business. That's very true. Without people, you cannot get anything done. So since we are a human resources community, so I have a question for you related to human resources. How can human resources professionals enhance your leadership? And what key contributions you would expect from them?
As you know, actually, I start my career as a human resources director first. You know, before I became the business leader or I became the CEO. I think human resources personnel, I would treat them like the business partner. It's very important for the organization to have the HR person that they can understand the business. As long as they understand the business, they understand the situation of the company, they can be a very strong support to every leader within the organization. As a leader, sometimes it can be very lonely because you have too many confidential information. You are suffering from maybe your psychological or burden, or you have a lot of pressure, but you cannot tell everybody. But as a HR partner, a business partner, you know, why a lot of the celebrities or the athlete stars that they would need a coach. You know, I believe a lot of executives, they also need the executive coach. If not an executive coach, they need the HR partner. HR partner understand everything within the organization, and they can keep confidentiality. They understand the personnel. They understand the interpersonal, you know, relationship. They can share a lot of the burden, the psychological burden of the leaders. They can be partner, and particularly as long as the HR partner that they understand the business, always able to help resolve some HR issues, or even though when we look for talents is very important. Finding the right talent is very important. You know, finding talent is already difficult, but finding the right one that can fit in your company's culture, that can fit in the personality wise, they can fit in the team is also very important. So I think I always work very closely with my HR team. Sometimes we have our very strong, you know, very affirmative decision. You know, a leader has sometimes have to be very affirmative, very decisive. But sometimes we do not see our blind spot. We do not see, and then we can make mistakes. But as long as we have a, I can say, good partner, good HR partner, sometimes one or two sentences of their wisdom of words, they can inspire us. Trying to put down a little bit, trying to think twice, especially when we deal with the performance issue of the staff. We can discuss. It's very important to have the companion, you know, to discuss with you. So, and then of course, HR, they have the professional skills. They have the professional knowledge. They know all these, you know, legislative issues. Sometimes leaders, it doesn't mean they don't know, they don't understand. They know, they understand, but they will put it aside. It's not their priority. This is not what they are supposed to worry about. They will focus on the business decisions. They will focus on their missions. So that's why when we have the HR partner working alongside with us, they can help us, you know, at least like, how should I say? they can help slow us down. They can give us some advice, let us to think more thoroughly. So when we make the decision, we won't go into the trap like group thinking. Sometimes if the leader is too strong, when whatever you say, the people will say, yeah, right, correct. That's very dangerous.
Thanks, Carmen. So you have given us the tips that we need to know about our business and be a good partner to the management, and also be a good advisor, especially when most of the management members are all immersed in the business, and they need someone who can sometimes you can give them a words of wisdom, so that something that they also consider when they make decisions.
Yeah, like what I do. I love to share the market situation and the market intelligence with my HR people, and particularly within such a competitive environment. We all fight for the resources. We all fight for the strong talent, but we all know about the market. As a leader, you will be easy to get some information about your competitors' situation. So sometimes I would share with my HR partners of all these interactions and situations, so that when we talk about how should we retain our staff, how should we identify the high pro, how should we make offer, or even though how to eliminate some of the, but very seldom today, how to eliminate the underperformed staff. But sometimes you have to deal with it. This is the dirty work, but you still have to deal with it. That's why I would love to share all this situation with my HR personnel, so that they understand well enough of the situation that we are facing.
Thanks, Carmen. So I have a question particularly for you. I understand that you started as an HR director, right? And you end up as a CEO. How could you do that? Can you give us a tips? I understand that not every HR head wants to be CEO, but I really want to get some tips from you and how we can progress further.
I think when I first studied my first degree, I was studying communications. Back then, I learned a lot of the skills, in particularly the writing skill, the presentation skill, and the selling skills. Okay, it's very, very funny. When you are able to master, the persuasion skill, the bargaining skill, the selling skill, you either can be a strong sales leader, strong HR, or strong CEO back then. My professor told us, and I was the HR back then when I was taking my first degree. I was taking part-time school. It was in 1996, long time ago. I just find no matter whether you are the sales leader, HR leader, or even the CEO, every day we're selling. We're trying to sell the candidates to come to our company. When I was the HR, I always tell my interviewers, my recruiter, no matter what kind of candidates you are interviewing with every day, make sure they like your company. Make sure they felt the interviewing meeting was very successful. They would be looking forward to working with this company. They would just expect to be one of the staffs of this company. So this is the mandate of the recruiter. Because we are the ambassador. We are representing the company. Throughout the interviewing meeting is going to tell all the culture and the work environment and your future of the company to this candidate. So it's a very, very difficult and harsh requirement for all my recruiter. Make sure they like you, they like your company. So the selling skill is very important. And second, when I was the HR, I keep talking to, I love to talk to my peer leaders, trying to understand them, provide my caring, consider their situation, understand their business, listen to them, listen to their difficulty and the situation that they're facing with. That's why I learned a lot about the business from them. And one day, it was back to 2002. It was a very difficult situation in Hong Kong. Very, very difficult situation, economic-wise. And then 2003, this is the SARS time. And I love the company. I work together with my peer leaders. I don't just think business issue is your job, not mine. I just care about, people. However, 2002, my company was having a very difficult time to redundant a lot of staff. I feel very sad because I interview all of them. I hire them. At least 1 year, I hired 300 of them. And then I have to redundant 100 of them. I see everybody, they cry. They don't want to leave the company. I feel very bad. I feel very sad. I just talked to my CEO back then. I say, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? I dump out a lot of ideas, let him to consider whether we can save the company, whether we can save those people that we don't need to fire them. I keep on bombarding him, throwing out a lot of ideas and trying to propose different, alternative solutions. Those are all business decisions. It's just because I was always taking the position as a business partner. Business partner, I worry what they worry. I'm just putting myself into their shoes. I put my feet in their shoes, trying to fill. And you can say I'm nosy, but just because of that, my CEO was trying to ask, okay, our sales leader is trying to give up his job. Why don't you take it? So I said, wow, how can I do that? I never sell one day. I don't even know how to sell. No, you are selling me every day. So I think, oh, of course, I just grabbed the opportunity. I'm very proactive. Of course, I just treat my job is not a job. I just try to take the entrepreneurship, mentality. I try to, I really feel the pain, just like I am the owner of the company. Of course, many years later, today, people will talk about entrepreneurship. You heard about that, right? Leaders, they all have to be having the entrepreneurship mindset. But back then, it's talking about almost 30 years ago. I was demonstrating that kind of personality and capability that inspired my CEO to give me that position. And of course, later on, because I was doing okay, it's not bad, with some result. It was really miracles. In 3 years' time, I saved the company's business performance and changed the company, turned the company upside down. And then we got a lot of good deals from the market. And we came back, we just like conquer in the industry. And everybody knows this company, know this, person. And of course, I was pretty unusual. I done my job when I was very successful. Why? Because I think I still want to continue to learn. That's why I moved to the United States in 2006. 2005, sorry. I went to the United States to continue my MBA, to equip myself, to learn more about how to qualify myself as the investment expertise, because I work for the asset management company, MPF company, pension company, mutual fund company. I cannot just always carry my, my own work experience from my HR, mentality, or even though a couple of years of sales experience, but I still want to be a real investment person. That's why I went to the United States to continue my study. But I have to give up what I built for 15 years to have achieved a certain level of my career ladder. But you never know. You thought you were giving up, but actually when I return, I get a better chance, to hold up another higher position as the COO, eventually as the CEO of a financial planning company. And of course, my former employer, they witnessed how you create that, financial planning arms, and they will invite me to go back to my previous, the company that I helped start up to take up a higher position. So I can say I'm lucky, I'm blessed, and most importantly, I think up to a certain level, I am willing to, to people say give up, but I would not say real give up. I would just make a pause, trying to stop there and trying to take up something more challenging. I'm not afraid of losing something. I'm always feeling, I have done something, I can settle it down, pass to the other generation, and then I move on to build another thing, that helps me, to get better and better, wider and wider exposure and accomplishment.
Wow. Carmen, when you talk about selling, right? For me, you are an excellent salesperson, although you're CEO, right? Oh,
thank you.
So I think a few years back, and when I first met you in one of the presentation, after the presentation, I could not go away for not buying your service. So you can see your negotiation skills and persuasive skills, how strong it is. And I also love your heart when you are persuading your CEO not to make so many of your staff laid off and so forth. You have a good heart, and also you mentioned the entrepreneurial skills, right? Entrepreneurship. I think if we really want to progress further in our career, we need to have these kind of spirits and all those skills. So it goes without saying that you're a great leader in terms of your
I'm still learning from
your career progression and your heart.
Shame. Very shame. Actually, I'm not very good, but really appreciate for your opportunity.
So before we end the session, Carmen, can you just give us one, if you want to take away, can you give us one thing that you want us to take away? Of course, we have a lot of nuggets of wisdom today, but if you really want to take one thing away, what do you want us to take away?
If I want to say one thing to encourage the HR, because I've seen a lot of HR in different companies, walk your talk. Walk your talk. Because a lot of company will have a motto. Motto is motto only. We treasure people. We treat people like our exes. But to be honest, I see a lot of people that they don't feel that way. They don't feel the company really treasure. The employee experience can be very bad. But if we, as an HR, as a leader, if we really treasure people, everyone is unique. Everyone can do worse, but everyone can do better. It's really depending you as a leader. How can you unleash, the talent? How can you identify the potential? How can you help them to grow? Just like a coach. Everyone has their strengths. I always tell my staff, don't tell me your disadvantage. I can see very easily. Let's don't try to spend 200% effort to make your disadvantage to improve by 10%. It's not worth, okay? Try to think about how can you do 10, 20% of something you are already doing 100%. Or even though you can double it very easily. So that's why as an HR personnel, I would say, I would encourage you, really need to walk the talk. And of course, I understand that sometimes we are under pressure by the company's decision. Company will have the goal, company will have the culture, whatever. That's why it takes courage. You got to be courageous. Say something people that they dare not to say. Your staff, your employee of the organization rely on you, to really voice out the people that they cannot say. You have to see what they see, feel what they feel. But at the same time, it's unfair, maybe. It's just like a sandwiches. HR always standing in the middle. Employee, company. But you got to strike a balance. You're also part of the employees. But at the same time, you're representing the company. You got to strike a balance. But don't try to say something that you cannot do. Okay? Don't do something you're not supposed to do. All right?
Wow, walk the talk and also be the employee champion, right? Feel what the employee felt. Wow, very good. So thank you, Carmen, for thanks again for all the great ideas and a lot of things that we learned today.
Sorry, this is just I honored my sharing, my personal sharing. I don't know whether this is happening.
Big sharing. So thanks, Carmen. So thanks again. So we'll be in touch with you. Thank you. Thank you, Carmen.
God bless.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.